Did you enjoy the last episode? Kind of interesting. I got to tell you, I have to give a big ups to Michael Moreland who cut that together. That was an amazing amount of edits and took a lot of time watching all the crazy zaniness that we've done over the last 14 or 13 plus episodes. What does that mean? Well, that means we are on episode 15. 15. That is a lot of episodes. Thanks a lot to you guys for letting us get this far. We're going to continue to go onwards and upwards. What do we have coming up this week? Well, we have This Week in Review. Well, last week, as everybody knows, hosted by Signor Microfono and the Lamp. We want to name her. Maybe we can name the Lamp. Who knows? We'll just give it a shot. Send it in. We'll think about it. We were all at GDC. We're having business meetings. We're talking to people about Star Citizen. We're showing off our stuff. We're talking to possible business partners. And also, we're looking for potential things that could help us make this game shorten the timeline for getting it from us to you. As we all know, very crucial. So, on with also this week, we have forum feedback. We have, of course, wide world news. And we have an interview with our graphics programmer, Brendan Jackson. So a lot to look forward to this week. Let's get on with the really big shoe. So if we have a GDC debrief, I think I can mess that up even more. GDC debrief with Rob Irving. Come on in, Rob. Da-da-da, da-da-da.
I don't have my own music.
No, you can make your own music.
I need a theme song.
It's some Kid Rock thing, right? Exactly. So, man, you were at GDC last week. In fact, you were there. I was only there a few days. You were there for like the entire week.
Slogging up and down the streets of San Francisco.
Yeah, it was fun though, wasn't it?
It was a lot of fun. Very informative. I learned a lot. I watched a lot of very interesting presentations.
Yeah, exactly. And that's one thing that we can do. We find out what the rest of the world is doing. While we've been making in our little cocoon, while we're making it, we can find out maybe somebody's come up with solutions that we hadn't thought of, or that might make our game better, or our pathway to success even good. So what did you like? What did you find there that you thought was interesting?
One thing I did learn is don't buy new shoes the day before the show. Not a lot of what I did learn, though.
Don't eat that yellow snow. Don't buy new shoes just before the show. Exactly.
Good lessons.
Yeah, well,
we are a learning program. So one of the things, a lot of what you learn at GDC is not just what to do, but also the mistakes people made. They tell you about them. They help you learn from what they did wrong. So I spent a lot of time listening to people talking about the games they made, for instance, the Star Wars guys and the guys who did a lot of the free-to-play games, which, of course, their economy model is important for us to look at and learn from.
Right, find out what they did right, what they didn't do right, and
absolutely,
and see what we can glean from that so that we can do everything right.
And how not to be evil.
How not to be evil, right. So what was the most impactful thing you saw then? What was your favorite bit you saw? What did you like?
I think the most impactful thing, and something we've already been thinking about, of course, is that...
So that's really interesting. What else? What else did you see?
Well, the other thing is just keeping the content alive, keeping the world alive. That was a really big deal for every single company I went to, and we've got to provide a lot of content for all you people out there, so we're going to be thinking about that for a long time to come.
So the live team, essentially, like how to keep the content fresh and keep things in the universe popping and happening. And we're going to be some of the things that they've done out there are interesting, but we're going to be taking it to the nth level, to the next level, where we hope to be mining the data from them and taking the lore of what's going on and then building some content around that. So kind of letting them create the lore and then helping them guide us into, maybe their storylines that they create that we manage.
Absolutely. More than anything, our players are our content, more than any other game.
That's good. That's good. Well, thanks a lot, Rob.
No problem.
Appreciate you stopping by. We also have another guest ready to come in here. Every time we talk about this, during the week, I get a lot of comments people saying, really, really want to see more content. What did you guys during the week? Really like that stuff. So we thought we'd show you a little bit about exactly what we do during the week here at Cloud Imperium. Roll it. There you go. That's actual code from the game, and also why you can't see every week why there's something really cool to show, because that's what we're doing. And with that note, let me bring in Jason Spangler. Come on in, Jason. Have a seat. Hot seat. You guys have met Jason before. He's our CTO, the big wig, the big chair, and he was also at GDC. I think you probably took in more sessions than anybody else. I looked at your schedule, and it was like, I couldn't keep up. It was amazing. So what'd you like?
A lot of online tech service and production sessions. Met with a lot of like vendors who could, like you mentioned, provide tools or services that could help us save time
Right,
and get
sure.
off better and faster. Met with a lot of manufacturers of like GPUs and CPUs,
Yeah.
so we can optimize and
So we can get
run
free
good.
stuff. No. That's one thing that I'll bet they don't realize is that when you're doing, and you're looking at your notes down there. I see
Yeah,
you big
my
sheet.
notes.
I don't have any notes. So I'm just kidding. But one of the things we're doing when you're doing Xbox or you're doing PS3, you're kind of limited in config, right? You can fix, you know what your limitations are. But we're doing PC and we're supporting PC, which means we have umpteen number of configurations to support. And so that means we need lots of stuff, right?
And we also, since we'll be releasing in the future, we have to talk to them to know
Good
what
point.
the specs are going to be, what they believe the specs will be at that time when they release the new product.
Yeah, exactly. What are they going to be in 2014, 2015? Heck, what are they going to be later on this year when we're doing like the dogfighting thing? So it's like, you're right. There's a lot to learn. So meeting with them. Who else? Who else did you meet with?
New company called Simply Gone. They make a tool that generates level of details off of meshes, so we can save artist time and automatically generate the different level of detail models.
So explain how that works. Like if you're in space and you're up close, you see tons and tons of detail on our ships, lots and lots of triangles, lots of polygons. It looks realistic. But when you're looking at something from a distance, you're not rendering the exact same number of polygons, are you? What does that do? What does that mean?
Right. By switching to a lower level of detail, we save GPU and CPU time to render what might be closer to you in more detail and what's farther away in less detail, since you won't notice it since it's fewer pixels on the screen.
There you go. See? Secrets in the game industry. Not to mention, you just saw a lot of Jason's code fly by there. Well, the entire code team. So cool. Was there anything else? Was there anything else you were particularly liked or found interesting at GDC?
A lot of cloud computing providers are talking to game companies and advertising their services to game companies.
We're going to need that.
Yes. And there's a lot of trend of reusing server messaging frameworks and NoSQL databases and other tech that is end up being shared between like web companies, high performance computing companies, and game companies.
Cool. I mean, see, so Jason's the guy who vets all this stuff for us to make sure that your experience on the end seems seamless. We don't have seems seamless. Can we do more alliteration like that? But it's so that you get a better experience rather than having it choppy. So all this stuff's important. That's why it's important for us to go to GDC and find these things out. So thanks to Jason for joining us. We're going to now take a look at Brian Brewer's something he's put together, our lead animator. You can hang here for a second, Jason. Take it away, Brian. So what we've got right here, we're showing you a little bit of the animation that we've got going on. This is some of our character animation, our in-game itself in the engine. It's just kind of a guy working out on screen. And one of the things we're trying to talk about doing here at CIG and with Star Citizen is we're toying around with the idea of full performance capture so that we can capture face, audio, performance at the same time, sort of like you block out a play or something of that nature, so that it looks realistic, so that the lips match up, the eye lines match up, things like that. So we want the experience to seem as immersive as possible. Realistic. Immersive as possible. I knew I could do it. And so that's one of the things we're going to do. So that is the end of the week in review, which takes us exactly to not to forum feedback. Whoa! Michael, thank you. He just mentioned something. I totally forgot about it. Da-na-na. Da-na-na. You know what this means, folks. That's right. We've got the nose cam. Let's get it going. We're going to take you out and we're going to take a look at the 300i, some aspects with Chris Smith. Be right back. Let's go. All right, let's take a look. There's Mike again. Signor microfono. And we're on the way out. Ooh, almost on the whiteboard. Don't want to do that. Let's take a look around the office again. There's Mr. Skelton. How's your hookah?
What's up, man?
What's up? Just saw Jason right there. There's Brendan. We're going to see him a little bit. Tom Sawyer. How's the fence painting going? Yeah, it never gets old. Coming on here. Elijah's still here. Zane's working on the website. Can't show too much of that. There's Brian. We just saw his stuff. Look good, Brian. And here we come along to Chris Smith. What's going on, Chris?
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. Say hi to everybody.
Hi, everyone.
You guys remember Chris? He got belly bumped. We're sorry about that, Chris. We apologize.
Yes, it was quite the experience.
Have you recovered?
Not quite.
I don't blame you.
My appetite's still off.
Well, good. Some of us, at least one of us, is skinny. So tell us about what you're working on here. What do we got here?
Well, I'm working on a 300i ship.
Mm-hmm.
This is the landing gear for it.
The landing gear looks really detailed.
Yeah. So we're putting a lot of detail in these little mechanical things, to make them as believable as possible.
Right. Take a look at that, folks.
Make it look nice.
Take a look around. Show it around. Move that around for everybody so they can see. Look at the detail on this ship. Look at that. Amazing. Wow. If we're putting that much detail in the hanging into the landing gear, we must be putting a ton of detail into the rest of the ship too.
Yeah. Everything will be pretty detailed and very high fidelity models. So.
Exactly. We are pushing the boundaries.
Pushing it.
Of not only space but computer gaming. Right?
Absolutely, of course.
Farfignugan.
Farfignugan, of course.
All right, see you later, dude. All right.
Later.
Thanks, Chris. All right, here we go. Back into the audience. There's our designer. Coming around the corner. We know what that room is. Don't go back in there. And we're coming back, and we are back. That was cool. That was interesting. Ta-ta-ta. Let's turn this off here. Take off the head cam. Ooh, little brightness. I want to thank Chris for showing us that. If just think about that, folks. As detailed as the landing gear is there, the rest of the ship, missiles, guns, cockpit, is all going to be even more detailed. So it looks amazing. And, it does take time. So, again, when people say they want to see something every week, that ship takes, 5-6 weeks to make. So it takes time because we want to get it right because it's going to be stinking great. Right, so let's get on. Let's wrap it up and get to my favorite part of the show, forum feedback. Yeah, try that one. Let's get right to it. From Slow Reflex, he says, will you announce in advance which events you'll be attending in the future? Then fans can make plans to attend as well. Yeah, we will absolutely be doing that. I mean, when we're hitting up a show or we're playing a show Star Citizen, we'll announce it. We'll have things for golden ticket holders to attend, things for pleasures to attend. We're actually trying to get some stuff for Gamescom this summer in Germany. So look for some announcement in the future about that. But Lord knows I want to go there for some cerveza. From Reebok, he says,
it wasn't in the ship component update, so we wanted to ask, will ship sensors be similar to the rest of the components in how you can upgrade or tweak them for better performance?
Yeah, I mean, we want to make the environment as interactive as possible, but that's one of those situations where we have to still design it. It's still got a lot to do, and right now we are knee-deep in creating assets, so how that is all going to work, we'll probably release something on that much later as soon as we figure that out, but environmental interaction is key to good gameplay, in my opinion, so the more we can do in that regard, the better. Whether that's day one release or whether that's, a little bit after that, who knows? That'll still be determined. From Thars, he says, will every energy weapon be named laser, or will we see energy weapons based on different technologies? Yeah, they're all going to be called laser. No, come on, man, really? No, plasma, neutron guns, particle cannons, it's all there. We're going to have tons of different weapons. I think we even had something about a couple weeks ago that talked a little bit about this. So yeah, no, not everything is laser, man. There's even projectile weapons, missiles. I mean, come on. You can't have just lasers. Well, not if you're good. Not saying that anybody's not good if they don't. Just admit that. Redacted. From Anxious Confusion, he says,
welcome aboard the Confusion. In many online games, players tend to overcrowd data spots with an immersion breaking sea of players. Will there be docking limits or such to circumvent this?
Love Minecraft. Love that video. Well done. Yeah, our server sharding system is being designed to keep a limit or a top on how many people can be in a certain instance. How many that is still TBD, to be determined, and you guys are going to help us with that through the dogfighting and Hangar apps and Hangar modules as we release them. You'll be able to help us stress test the servers and the sharding system to where we get the exact amount that it can handle. We don't want a large frame rate 2,500 ship massive thing going on, unless, of course, the servers and machines can handle it. We're more along the lines of, a dogfight. Think World War II Battle of Britain style, flying around, shooting each other, stuff like that. That's more the size and scale you'll probably see in the game. But again, TBD, we got to figure that out, and you guys will help us figure that out. From Hermit Boy, he says, how will the UEE and other groups respond to stolen carriers? Will the UEE attempt to recapture the carrier whenever they see it in UEE space? Yeah, but they'll probably do more than that. They'll probably try to blow it up. Man, if you're strong enough and your guild or whoever else is holding a carrier, you are a targetto. Everybody is coming at you, and they're coming at you hard. And if you come into UEE space, if you were that foolish, then you're going to take the lumps for doing so. You can count on it. From Mariluna.
Hi Wingman, Meraluna here. Are there plans for in-game tools to manage clans or alliances? Thank you and have a nice day.
Absolutely. In the game, there'll be ways to manage your friends, your clans, your guilds, whatever you want to call it. There'll be tools and such. In fact, there'll even be tools on the new, some tools to help you with that on the new website. Some things will allow you to keep track of things like that, which will be revealed as the website comes online. From Arthas, he says, will there be player housing? Have you heard of the Hangar app or Hangar module? Have you heard of the Hangar module? Yes, dude, of course we're going to have player housing. There'll be, that's what it's going to be. The hangar is your housing in Star Citizen. And if you want multiple hangars, well, around the universe, that's fine too. You can park ships all over the place. It's up to you. You bet there's going to be player housing. Have you heard of the Hangar module? Just kidding, bro. Yes, is the answer to that question. From Rebuck.
Will we be able to interact with the environment to create more imaginative deaths? Or will it be limited to a more straightforward mechanic of just being able to shoot people and ships?
Absolutely. There will be tons and tons of upgrades. And of course, if you have upgrades to your nav system and your computer systems, there is going to be counters to those upgrades. So you can be as all-powerful Oz, or you can be as stealthy as you wish. It's all up to you, and we want to support your style of gameplay. But how you customize your ship, it's all up to you. From Zombie, he says,
hey Wingman, if you keep mining one planet, it will be empty after some time. Wouldn't the entire universe be mined empty eventually? Or will there be countermeasures to avoid this? Well, I gotta go. My dinner is getting cold.
Well, let me think about that, Zombie. First of all, I hope you enjoyed your meal. The Earth is 4.6 billion years old, and we still have lots of stuff to mine here. So if Star Citizen gets to be around 5 billion years old, we might, and I mean might, run out of stuff to mine. So I think we'll be okay there. From Kin Shadow. This is pretty interesting, folks. Take it away.
Wingman. It's Kin Shadow again from DreadCitizen.com. Place some security cameras on this desolate wasteland of a planet. I'll catch that slipper Legante before he knows it. Anyway, on to my question. On the Death of a Spaceman post a while back, it was mentioned of tractoring in ejected pilots and selling them off to slavery later. Sounds like a great way to make a living. So, do I need any special equipment for that? Like a slave pen for my cargo hold, or some sort of freezing mechanism to transport the slaves? Or could I just get in there with my default pledge cutlass and my tractor beam and start slaving on day one? Thanks, Wingman. Now, off to the hunt.
Ah, man, guys, well done. Not sure you're going to be able to make a living at it, but slavers will certainly be a commodity. Slaves will certainly be a commodity in the game, and slavers themselves, you'll basically be a commodity dealer, although on the shady side of things. So first of all, that was another great video. So that is your forum feedback. Now it's on to Wide World News. Ever since early childhood fantasies of space, the rocket ship has served as a pivotal character in comics, pulp fiction, and movies. Early imagination served up a vertical rocket on fins that could take off and land vertically. While the fantastic design was abandoned in favor of more practical methods of landing like splashdowns and gliding to a runway, present-day rocket designers are returning to that early vertical vision of space flight. Last week, Maston Space Systems completed their latest in a series of vertically controlled rocket flights and landings. Their Zombie rocket completed a flight to nearly 500 meters in altitude. That's 1,640 feet for the metrically challenged. The ship then began a controlled maneuver 300 meters downrange to simulate a common curved approach from orbit to a planetary body. After a precisely controlled descent, Zombie performed a perfect soft landing on a pre-planned target and shut down its engines. Maston Space Systems is not the only private space company recreating our retro future rocket ship. SpaceX and their Grasshopper autonomous spacecraft has had similar success. And now, let's take a look back in time. The week in space.
On April 9th, 1959, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration announced their choice of the first 7 astronauts to train and fly for the fledgling manned space program. Dubbed the Mercury 7, they were Alan Shepard, Gus Grissom, John Glenn, Scott Carpenter, Wally Schirra, Gordon Cooper, and Deke Slayton. Each astronaut was considered a superb physical specimen with a genius-level IQ and the ability to function well both as part of a team and on their own. The press and public soon adopted them as heroes, embodying the new spirit of space exploration. These brave men were the only astronaut group with members that flew on all classes of NASA manned orbital spacecraft: Mercury, Gemini, Apollo, and the Space Shuttle. The Mercury 7, America's brave new explorers in space.
I feel like I'm back in junior high or high school, and I can't remember whether I slept through that or whether I actually stayed awake and paid attention. Who knows? Either way, that was really cool. And Mike Moreland voiced that. Very good stuff. And that, ladies and germs, is our wide world news. This week's guest, our ever-present and busy producer, interviewed Brendan Jackson.
My name is Brendan Jackson, and here at Star Citizen I'm involved in creating new shader effects for the engine, working on performance for the various features that we want, just trying to achieve the look and feel visually that Chris Roberts is looking for.
So how did you get started in the game industry?
So my first games job started in 1997, July 1997, and I started as a tools programmer at a little company called Beyond Reality in the north of England. Before working at Cloud Imperium, me and several others of the team were working at Lightbox Interactive, and in 2012 we shipped a PlayStation 3 game called Starhawk.
What kind of games do you like to play?
I find I enjoy those kind of god games. So I love Civilization, SimCity, going back Populous, those kind of games where you have a lot of interactivity with the control of the world. And I'm really looking forward to getting back to the combined elements that I see in Star Citizen, the economic kind of building an empire kind of effect, and good space combat. Who doesn't want that?
Well, I'm glad you're here, and welcome to Cloud Imperium.
Thank you, and I'm enjoying it immensely.
And here he is, Brendan, our lead graphics programmer, Brendan Jackson.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, thanks.
So let's start a little bit. You were at GDC last week, right?
I was, yes.
Yeah, I mean, it was a busy week for all of us.
It was.
So
it was fun.
what impacted you? Did you see anything you really thought was cool?
Quite a few shows, a lot of graphics stuff, obviously. My favorite was the Oculus Rift show.
Oh, man.
They kind of took us through a lot of the things you have to watch out for when you're making a Oculus Rift game. Mm-hmm. A lot of the technical issues was the big thing.
And we are making an Oculus Rift game.
That's the plan.
As soon as we get the dev kits. Just saying. So you liked it then? You thought it was cool?
Yeah. Lots of design stuff, lots of art stuff, kind of helpful advice on how to make your game not suck on the Oculus Rift.
That's right. That's going to be important. I mean, if you're spending money for that gear, you want it to be, you want it to really. And I got to say, I got to try it out at one point, and it's something else.
Yeah.
It is really an immersive experience.
We will need to include an auto barf mode, though.
An auto bath mode?
Barf. like
auto bar. Oh,
make
yeah.
vomit mode.
Some people do. It does experience it. I mean, it takes a moment to. Mine was I had to focus my two eyes together, which was a little difficult. So listen, you're obviously not from Texas.
Quite true.
Quite true. So you've lived in a lot of countries, haven't you?
I've lived in several, yes.
So how many countries have you lived in?
I've lived in England, obviously.
England, right?
South Africa.
South Africa.
And America.
And America. That's three.
That's three.
That's three. So United Kingdom, South Africa, and America. So so you're a world traveler.
I'm a world traveler.
That's
I've
awesome.
visited several countries as well.
So all those countries, well, most of them are soccer countries. So are you a big soccer fan?
I am
a rowdy?
not a soccer fan.
What? You're the one.
I'm the one Englishman who does not like soccer.
That is amazing. But they call it football over there anyway, so I don't think it's that big. So this question came from some of the people in the office because it's probably true. What is your favorite thing to drink?
I believe coffee might be what people are thinking of there. I might be the only person with a coffee maker in the office.
At your desk? How many cups of coffee do you think you drink a day?
Oh, it couldn't be less than 4.
More than 4. That is understating Brendan's coffee consumption. So what's your favorite drink? What's your favorite food then? What do you like to eat?
Oh, I like Indian. Indian food really
a
comes.
good curry.
Oh, yeah.
Have you found a good curry here though in Austin? I mean,
there are 1 or 2 restaurants. I like the Bombay Bistro, which is further up north. There's also I forgot the name of the restaurant.
Clay Pit over here?
Clay Pit right over here.
Yeah.
Both awesome Indian restaurants.
Yeah, do you think they're awesome? See, because that's the one thing I miss is the Indian food when I go to England. Oh man.
Now, to be fair, they don't taste as good as English food.
Fair enough. Okay, it's not technically English food just because it's in England. Hey, it's still Indian food, man.
After 100 years, we call it English food.
Yeah, fair enough. That's true. So how did you get into games? How did you get started? What brought you here to Austin? What are you doing here?
Let's see. I finished university and games and programming were the 2 things I enjoyed most.
Right.
So I decided I was going to do game programming.
Make a career out of it.
Made a career out of it. And then after several years in England, I decided to try and move to America. It just appealed to my adventurous side.
Right.
Having lived in a different country previously, I thought I could do it again on my own terms.
Right.
It took me almost a year to find a company that wanted to help me work in America. But eventually I moved over to Tulsa, Oklahoma to work for 2015 Incorporated.
Ooh, I worked at 2015 for a while too. Yeah, let's not go there. So, but you're down here in Austin. Where did you come from for here? How did you end up here?
Well, after leaving 2015, I spent a little time in Idaho with my wife's family, and then eventually moved to Texas to join Midway Studios Austin, where I worked in their core technology group.
Oh, cool.
For almost 2 years before moving on to a game that would have been called Criminal Underworld.
I know about that game, actually. Did you know, I knew John Summer. Was he on that game with you?
Yes, he was. He was the art director.
Yeah, he's a really good friend of mine. So, yeah, good. We worked together at Digital Anvil and Fever Pitch. So that's kind of cool. It's kind of an incestuous industry. And then you went to Lightbox, right?
Yep.
And from Lightbox to here. We actually have about 10 people from Lightbox.
Yes. As I said in my interview, I tried to escape them, but they keep coming with.
I think you were the first, though, right? So technically they followed you.
Yes.
So you can take heart in that. So the audience wants to know, because they've seen your bear, this ginormous bear you have. What's the story behind the bear, A? And then we'll get to question B in a minute.
So the story behind the bear was, we got the bad news that Lightbox was closing down the team that we were on.
Yeah.
And we were soon to be searching for work again. And I went shopping that day, and I saw that big teddy bear in Costco. And, I took a photo of it with me hugging it and posted it on Facebook for all the guys to see. And I said, I needed a hug today. And everybody thought that was funny. So I decided I had to buy the bear. His job is to go where he is needed.
That's fair enough. And he has no name.
He has no name.
So that's question B. So are you going to name it? Or is it possible that we could just ask our fans what they want to name it and see if it's a decent name?
I believe I'm willing to accept submissions from the fans.
There you go. So why don't you guys put your thinking caps on, think of a name for the ginormous bear, which you've seen in lots of these clips, and we'll get it there. So listen, I want to thank you for being on the show. We're going to thank Brendan here. Not Brandon. My son's Brandon. You're Brendan. And your wife's watching, right?
Yes.
She always watches the show. Thank you very much. Thanks for joining us. Rob and Jason, thank you for showing your GDC experiences and being on the show. Thanks for Chris Smith for showing us really, really cool, intricate landing gear on the 300i. We'd like to have showed you a little more, but man, it looks too hot, and we didn't want to burn up the internet today. We've already crashed it on the Reddit and the website enough, so we didn't want to crash more stuff. We also want to thank Fraps. Fraps was an amazing company that allows us to record what you have on your screen at any time, like your games or whatever you're going. Fraps will let you record, and it allows us to record things and show them around the office. And Fraps was very generous to us, and it became a partner of ours. Thank you very much. We'll put up a website on the credits. Look for that. If you want to record what's on your computer screen at any particular time, I highly recommend Fraps. Thanks very much to the Lamp and Senior Microfono. I think they're busy. Probably, well, Senior Microfono's right here. He's probably, trying to find the Lamp's number and digits somewhere, but we'll see how that goes. And we have coming up next week, Chris is back in Austin. We'll try to wrangle him in so he can answer those forum feedback questions. I think that he generally gives some of the best answers in the world for that, and it helps everybody out. Love having him on the show. Check the website today for updates on t-shirts and citizen cards. Let's take a look at what we have here. That's right, folks. Citizen cards. We have the Colonel, the Rear Admiral, the Vice Admiral, Space Marshal, and Wing Commander. These cards here that we just showed you are the first proofs. Sandy's got an update coming out to you guys later today about where they're at with t-shirts and citizen cards. They're in production. Each one of these cards has to be intricately etched. They're absolutely gorgeous. They look fantastic. Don't want to give away too much, but later on today after the show, check the website out because you'll get some really nice information that I think you'll be happy with. So don't forget the after show, Wingman's Hangover, an informal look at what we talked about today, what you liked, what you didn't like. Well, you can keep the didn't likes to yourself, but tell us what you liked. We'll see you in about 15 minutes on in the chat roll. So what's that mean? See you where? In the verse.
I'm a leaf on the wind. Watch how I soar.
Aren't they just great?
They are not so much.